Bryan Singer, director of the first two X-Men movies and the upcoming X-Men Days of Future Past, tweeted this message yesterday. #XMen, #Apocalypse 2016. For those of you who don't know, Apocalypse is one of the most popular and powerful villains in the X-Men universe and first appeared in 1986 in X-Factor #6. With this tweet, comic book fans are now buzzing about a possible Age of Apocalypse movie. John, what do you think of Apocalypse being the central villain for the X-Men movie following Days of Future Past?
I'm so excited. To quote Lonely Island, I jizzed in my pants. This is for anybody who's been watching or listening to me for any period of time. I have constantly said, I mean, the one-shot, my favorite one-shot graphic novel story is always going to be The Dark Knight Returns, but my favorite comic book storyline has always been Age of Apocalypse. Now, I don't know if they're going to do Age of Apocalypse here. I mean, all hail En Sabah Nur, but I don't know if we're getting actually Age of Apocalypse here, but it seems to make sense because he later also tweeted something that made it sound like this Apocalypse film he's talking about is a sequel or a second part to X-Men Days of Future Past. There's a lot of time travel. Put on your student hats, I'm about to give you a lesson. For those of you who don't know much about Age of Apocalypse, let me just give you a quick recap here, okay? So, Charles Xavier has got this son who's a bit of a psychopath. He's got huge multiple personality, okay? Like lots of them running around. His name is Legion. Anyway, Legion decides in his own little twisted mind that he's going to now make his dad's life better instead of worse. And the way he's going to make his life better is by going back in time and killing Charles Xavier's arch nemesis, Magneto, therefore making Charles Xavier's life wonderful and grand. The problem is, when Legion goes back in time to kill Magneto, Magneto and Xavier are still best friends, and Xavier saves Magneto's life by sacrificing his own. So now Charles Xavier is dead, and then it comes back to modern day, looking at the present as if Charles Xavier died 20 years ago or whatever. And Magneto is now actually a hero because he was so moved by the self-sacrifice of his friend Charles Xavier, and he started and formed the X-Men in honor of his friend Charles Xavier saved his life. And in the absence of Charles Xavier, Apocalypse En Sabah Nur rises to power, takes over an entire continent, and is just creating mass genocide of the human race everywhere he goes. Now, Magneto is the lone hero with his ragtag group of X-Men, some of whom in our regular timeline are actually villains, is leading them and resisting them against Apocalypse. Have I lost you yet? Probably. But this is one of the greatest stories in comic book history. I love it. I love this character. Look, Magneto is the de facto X-Men villain, no doubt. But the ultimate powerful X-Men villain, the one who rules the Four Horsemen, who does, is Apocalypse. And I never thought we'd actually see an Apocalypse movie. And now I'm so excited. I don't know if you could tell. I'm a little bit worked up about it. I'm really, really super excited. I mean, Schnepp, what did you think about all this when you heard about it?
I was very excited. And actually, it's funny, when I saw that tweet, I thought of you because I know what a sweaty you are. So when I first met him, he was like, the Age of Apocalypse, let me tell you. Like, when I first met him, he was talking about this. So, yeah, I was excited. I'm also excited to hear that maybe they are doing this as a two-parter. It's not called Days of Future Past 2. They're going with Apocalypse, and they're bringing in the character Apocalypse. My only concern is he doesn't have a giant A on his belt.
Yeah,
let's just get rid of the A, guys. You don't need to have it. Captain America's the only guy who has an A. So come on. So
Dennis?
Yeah, I think it is going to be Age of Apocalypse because of what the storyline of Days of Future Past is and how they're going to connect that to Age of Apocalypse. But I don't think they're going to use that exact origin that you described
I'm sure
before.
they won't. Yeah,
they're going to take something from Days of Future Past that changes and then creates that alternate timeline. And yeah, Apocalypse is one of the coolest looking villains as well. He's more powerful than Magneto, and I'm interested in seeing it. I honestly, Age of Apocalypse, I really like the storyline. It's not my favorite X-Men storyline. My favorite X-Men storyline is actually the Legacy virus. With Strife and Cable
yeah,
and all that stuff. Apocalypse actually factors into that.
It does.
But
it does.
yeah, but I'm excited for this.
Speaking of favorite X-Men's, mine is Canadian, the Alpha Flight team up with John Byrne. Chris Claremont.
North Star and
Yeah.
Puck and
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. Anyway, Crystalie.
I'm super excited because I don't know about Apocalypse. Clearly, you just gave me my history lesson for the day. But I do love the fact that we could see Magneto and Professor X joining back together again, because I hate seeing them split up. And I loved First Class. It was the one that brought me back into the franchise and got me to want to learn more about it. And I think everything we've seen from Bryan Singer and X-Men Days of Future Past looks amazing. So the fact that we're just going to get another X-Men, I don't care who's in it at this point, we're just going to get another one.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
really
awesome.
exciting.
And for those of you who don't know the comic, the comic story culminates ultimately after I waited months and months and months and reading every issue, months and months and months. It culminates in the final battle between Apocalypse and Magneto, and I won't give it away, but it's awesome. It's so great. So
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news, and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.